What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update with a big update on the futures of Kevin De Bruyne and Eric Garcia to come in this video that I'm going to speak about. So before we crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, you want to help support my channel, then subscribe, press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on to be notified immediately when I do upload to stay in the loop with the latest Manchester City news and transfer news. Don't forget also, you can check out my social media links, which you can find in the description below and popping up on screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. My email also in the description below too, if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships, for any videos or any general business inquiries. We'll be doing daily Manchester City transfer updates when the transfer window does open at the end of the season. Don't forget also, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. We smashed our 260 like goal in the last video, so let's aim for it again, 260 likes. Any help towards that will be much appreciated, and don't forget, leave your thoughts in the comments below with the transfers that is mentioned in this video. So before we crack on with this video, just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone that did tune in for my live stream yesterday. It was much appreciated. I enjoyed a lot of the interaction with everybody there, and we'll be back again for another live stream on Saturday evening for the match away against Brighton. Looking forward to that and interacting with everyone once again. But yeah, I'm also aiming for 8,000 subscribers, so any help towards that will be much appreciated too. So let's crack on with this video, and let's start first with we'll start with the outs first, and we'll start with the less complicated Kevin De Bruyne at this moment in time. So we've got an update on De Bruyne now. Some rumours have been floating around that Kevin De Bruyne is going to ask for more money if Manchester City are not in the Champions League. So if we're given a ban, he's going to miss out on millions of pounds. I think I've heard £3 million is the total that he's going to be missing out on, and apparently Kevin De Bruyne isn't happy about this, and so for him to stay at Manchester City, he wants a new contract where he would make this money back in weekly wages rather than through bonuses through the Champions League, because City won't be in the Champions League, of course, if we are banned. Now, Kevin De Bruyne, world-class player, obviously trying to compete for the Ballon d'Or and be one of the best players in the world, so he's going to be wanting to be playing in the biggest competitions, and so he'll be wanting to play in the Champions League. And we're in a problem here, City, because if we're not in the Champions League, then players like Kevin De Bruyne, they want to be in the Champions League, and we won't be able to offer it to them, and potentially we might not be able to offer it to them for 2 seasons. And Kevin De Bruyne now is just about hitting his prime as well, and so we're in a situation. It's been reported by Kevin De Bruyne's agent. He'll be saying that De Bruyne will not be leaving Manchester City, which is really good news. That's the key here, is that his agent isn't actively seeking for De Bruyne to leave Manchester City, and so it makes our lives easier if we want him to offer De Bruyne a new contract. And so City are going to have to meet De Bruyne halfway here. They're more than likely going to have to make him one of, if not the highest paid player at Manchester City to keep him here on a new long-term contract. And I imagine, I've heard rumours that City may offer him the captaincy as well at Manchester City, long-term captaincy to replace Vincent Kompany as well, which is something I can get behind. De Bruyne is a very passionate football player, very knowledgeable, knows what he's on about, he knows what he's doing, wears his heart on his sleeve. I think he'd make a good leader on the pitch, in my opinion, and I just feel like Manchester City should do everything they can to keep hold of Kevin De Bruyne at Manchester City. If that means breaking our wage structure to make him the highest paid player, then we must, because he's a world-class player, and when you have world-class players in your squad, you must do everything to keep hold of them. No doubting that if Kevin De Bruyne was to ever leave Manchester City, City are going to be weaker because of it. And I'm hoping that De Bruyne will only leave Manchester City when he's right near the end of his career, and so we're looking for the next big prospects rather than him leaving in his prime, because a huge hole is going to be there, and whoever we replace Kevin De Bruyne with, they're not going to be as good, because in my opinion there's no one out there as good as Kevin De Bruyne. There's no one even near him in terms of what he can offer in central midfield, and so we need to do everything we can to keep hold of him. It's good news that his agent says that he wants to stay, and I'm hoping we can get him on a new long-term deal. And like I said, that means giving him the captaincy and giving him more money. Need to get it done, because we need to be keeping hold of our fantastic world-class football players. This Champions League ban, it's making things very complicated for City, so I'm hoping, really am hoping, that on Monday, when we get the verdict from CAS, it is good news for Manchester City. I feel like CAS is going to meet both parties halfway here, and I reckon City might have a Champions League ban for a year. So just imagine it like Manchester City have finished 5th, Okay, we're not interested in the Europa League, and we chuck the Europa League. No one's going to be that disappointed. We can survive without Champions League football for 1 season. 2 seasons, though, becomes a little bit more problematic. It also affects our transfer business and bringing in quality players. Instead, City would have to change their strategy, target players that they can develop instead. Which would make a good project. It's just I feel like Pep Guardiola wouldn't be here for that many years to see it through, to see it come into fruition. So, yeah, like I said, Monday I'm hoping it's going to be good news for Manchester City. And I think this leads really nicely on to my next update, which of course is in terms of Eric Garcia. Now, just like Kevin De Bruyne, we need to be doing everything we can to keep hold of our quality young players as well. And Eric Garcia, in my opinion, is included in them quality young players. There's other players out there as well. Phil Foden, Harwood Bellis, other young quality players, Braaf as well, lots of different players. Tommy Doyle as well. These are players that City need to be getting on long-term contracts, and they need to be doing it as quickly as possible. And I'd hope that City would be doing that this summer, and so we can secure the long-term future, that if big clubs come calling for these quality young players, we can say to them, well, they've got 3, 4, 5 years left on their contract. If you want to sign them, you're going to have to pay big money, and then we know if they leave that we can bring in quality young players while signing proven players as well and still making money. It's good for business, and that ultimately is what City would be looking for. And at the moment I feel like we're just doing our new contract renewals a little bit wrong, in my opinion. Now, my update on Eric Garcia comes via Guillem Balague. I hope that's how you say his name, but he's the person that used to work for Sky Sports News who now works for Sport. He isn't the most reliable source, but what he's saying does make sense. And he's saying that Eric Garcia is wanted by Barcelona. And Pep Guardiola has said that there's certainly some kind of interest from Barcelona, because he was speaking about it after the game against Newcastle yesterday, saying that he wants Garcia to stay at Manchester City. However, if Garcia wants to leave Manchester City, then he's not going to stop him, is what he's saying. And it's the same situation with Leroy Sané, where players work down their contract, they get offers from other clubs are speaking to the agent, they're speaking to the player, and the minds get turned, and all of a sudden they want to leave Manchester City to go elsewhere. And so, yeah, becomes very problematic. Now, the update with Eric Garcia, it's been reported that Barcelona's got personal terms agreed with him. I'm not sure how true this is, and that Manchester City and Barcelona are working on a deal to try and negotiate for Garcia to return back to Barcelona, which in my opinion, I don't think that's true. I think that's trash. Garcia looks very happy at Manchester City, and I'm confident that if we can give him good terms on a new contract, that he'll commit himself to a new contract. At this moment in time, I'm concerned about young quality players leaving Manchester City, but I'm not too concerned about Eric Garcia leaving this summer, because I don't think that he will. I don't think it'd make sense for him in terms of his development to leave right now. I feel like he'd be doing a Brahim Diaz leaving just as he's on the cusp of getting in and around the Manchester City first team squad. Go to a quality team. Brahim Diaz went to Real Madrid. Of course, Garcia would be going to Barcelona. It's hard for them to break into the squad. Give them 1 season. The development ends up hindering, and they end up then being spoken about going out on loan. They go through that little conveyor belt, and then all of a sudden their careers end up well, somewhere else, and it ends up not being a top prospect. You end up being a good player rather than potentially an excellent player playing at the top level of European football. And so it's important how Garcia manages that, and Garcia's never come across as a person that's rational. He never comes across as a person that's going to be silly or stupid. He knows that he's learning from Pep Guardiola. He seems like he's enjoying being in and around the Manchester City first team squad, and like I said, as long as City give him a contract to reflect his importance to the Manchester City squad, I'm confident that he will sign that contract. But I just wanted to say this: I'm very disappointed that City haven't offered had these contract renewal talks happening long ago. I can't help but feel like Eric Garcia's long-term future should have been secured last season, maybe even the season before. He should have been on a professional contract at Manchester City, and he should be tied down to a 4 or 5 year contract. So we know that right now, if Barcelona were interested in Eric Garcia and he had, for example, 3 seasons left on his contract, we could just say to Barcelona, if you want Eric Garcia, you're going to have to pay big money to sign him. And so City would be confident that we'd be able to get in enough money, like I said, to bring in some top quality centre-back prospects for our academy, and also bring in a top-class replacement for Eric Garcia, who could slot into our first team. Instead, I'm wondering how much Barcelona would have to pay for Eric Garcia this summer if he wanted to leave. 1 year left on his contract. Leroy Sané is a proven international Premier League footballer who's got fantastic stats. Eric Garcia has played a handful of games. And we managed to pick up €60 million for Leroy Sané with add-ons. With Eric Garcia, it's going to be considerably less. And it shouldn't be considerably less because he's a fantastic prospect. I am very confident in sitting here to say that I know that Eric Garcia is going to be a wonderful, quality, high-level centre-back in the future. 2 or 3 seasons' time, Eric Garcia will be a very good prospect at centre-back. Everyone will be speaking about Eric Garcia. Top clubs around Europe will be chasing Eric Garcia because they know how good he is and they want him to slot in to their first team. And so his future should be secured already at Manchester City. I just feel like we're not acting quick enough. We've seen it with Jadon Sancho. We're potentially seeing it with Eric Garcia. Brahim Diaz is another player as well. It concerns me. That's what concerns me. And I feel like we just need to act quicker. I've not got a problem with young players wanting to leave. If you're Eric Garcia, you've played for Barcelona before. Perhaps he wants to return there. He'd love to play his football for Barcelona. I do not know what his mindset is. He seems very happy at Manchester City right now. But I just feel like City should be holding the cards here to negotiate a deal for Eric Garcia to leave, and I just don't feel like we're holding the cards. I feel like it's a Sané situation again, where Barcelona's got the upper hand if they want to bring Garcia in. They know that if they can speak to Garcia, they know that if City don't accept the bid, they'll say, don't accept that contract offer that City are willing to offer, which apparently is £40,000 per week, up on his £12,000 per week, because Barcelona might be willing to double that. They may say, we're going to pay you £70,000 to £80,000 per week, and if City aren't willing to match that, and we know that City don't like to manage their wage structure like that, then all of a sudden he's going to wait the year, do an extra year of development, then leave for free, which is criminal in my opinion. I'm going to keep my eyes on these developments. I'm hoping, just like with the CAS verdict, I'm hoping we're going to get good news in terms of Eric Garcia, a new long-term contract, a Kevin De Bruyne, a new contract as well. The CAS overturns the Champions League ban. That would be an ideal week for me, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, very quickly, we'll just move on to the ins because we've got a quick Kalidou Koulibaly update. Now, Fabrizio Romano has been speaking last night about Kalidou Koulibaly. He's confirmed there is nothing advanced at this stage between Manchester City, Kalidou Koulibaly and Napoli. We know there is interest from Manchester City there, but this confirms that after earlier reports from a week or two ago that Manchester City were closing in on Kalidou Koulibaly, that just is not true. It seems Man City are being patient. It's going to allow other clubs to come in and potentially speak with Koulibaly and Napoli and move ahead of us in the pecking order, whilst Manchester City and are. And again, that is something that does concern me, but I feel like City are just waiting until the end of the season. They're waiting to see how much money we've got to spend. We're waiting to see what happens with that CAS verdict, which we'll get on Monday, and then we'll go from there for our transfer business for the summer. But it has been confirmed from Sam Lee that City are looking at only 2 quality first-team centre-backs for this summer, and one of them is Kalidou Koulibaly. He didn't mention who the other one is, but lots of people are presuming that that would be Milan Skriniar. I have also heard also Diaz has been mentioned at Benfica. So there we go, that's been the update. So there we go, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up so I know that you enjoyed the video, aiming for 260 likes. Like I said, I'm hoping some contract renewal will start happening in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get these players tied down to long-term deals, and then everyone can be delighted and happy again. What happens with transfers, sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's not, but here I am reporting the good and the bad news. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and like I said, I'm hoping to bring some more positive news for you tomorrow. Fingers crossed. So there we go. Don't forget also, leave your thoughts in the comments below for these transfers. Subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. Aiming for 8,000 subscribers, so any help to us, that would be much appreciated. Social media links in the description below and popping up on screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Go and have a check out on my live stream that I did yesterday too. Made some interesting transfer topics discussed in there, and also some plans for JSGC. It's like a little podcast that runs for 2 hours whilst we're watching the City game as well, so go and check that out if you haven't watched it already. And I'll see you all again tomorrow for the next Manchester City transfer update. So I've been JSGC. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope everyone is safe and well too. Peace. Ciao for now.